Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Nedarim, page 89, which lists 9 different situations where a woman who makes a vow, the father is not going to, for whatever reason, be able to step up and to be able to either verify or to nullify her vow, which means that in these 9 cases, we find that what she says, that is it. Her vow is accepted. Now, what's fascinating is that the truth is there aren't really 9 cases. There's really only 3. And each of the 3 can be divided into 3 separate parts. The basic idea is that once a woman is completely married, even if, let's say, afterwards she gets divorced or becomes a widow, at that point she has legally left the father's home, and therefore even now, after she is no longer married, it's not anymore within the rights of the father to be able to annul any vows. Also, obviously in this situation, if the father dies, then there's no one to be able to annul those vows. And a third situation is when she is at the age of a bogeres, which is a legal age which she's considered to be independent based on her older age, and therefore her father does not have any rights on what she says at any point anymore, and therefore he cannot remove them. Now the truth is, again, those are the 3, and by analyzing this Mishnah, it actually says there are 9 such women. Now, interestingly enough, even though there's only 3, it's broken down in very specific little detail to make it possibly that there's 9. But on this, even though it seems to be an argument, is there 9 or is there 3, on this, the Ran tells us that even according to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, he also does not disagree. And the reason why he mentioned that there are 9 is only l'chaded et ha-talmidim, to sharpen his students. In other words, he didn't really disagree with the sages. 9? No, there's really just 3. And yes, if you analyze those 3 and break them down a little bit and ask questions in this detail, so technically maybe there's 9. But the truth is, it's those 3 basic ones that I mentioned. But when Rabbi Yehuda taught his students, he wanted to keep them sharp. And therefore, he would frame the questions a little bit differently and change them ever so slightly so that he would be able to give the students an opportunity to be able to think about what's being asked and then to be able to come up with an answer. This is something we find throughout the Talmud, that many times teachers will say certain things even though the teachers know the correct answer. They'll maybe ask a question in a way which is clearly wrong, and it's not because they themselves are confused, but it's in order to sharpen up their students. A great teacher is not just someone that has material and he wants to deliver it to their students. A great teacher has different methodologies, has different strategies, or in the language of education, the pedagogy, knowing how to be able to deliver the material in a way that will make your students more likely to be able to actually not just grasp, but also to retain the knowledge that you have. And therefore we find, just like here, this notion of sharpening, like sharpening a pencil. This is the notion of what the students constantly had to go through. They weren't just given information. They were constantly being tested and challenged. They always had to listen critically because they weren't sure exactly what their teachers were saying, if it was sarcasm, if it was accuracy, if it was something which is very clean and clear or not. It's not to confuse them. On the contrary, it was in order to be able to keep them on their toes, and by doing that, be able to be more in tune of the lesson and hopefully to remember it.